What's up, everybody? This video is about writing linear equations given 2 points using point-slope form. On the next slide, I'll be giving you your procedures. Alright guys, so your procedures for these particular problems are: first, find the slope or determine or calculate the slope using the formula, first difference or rise over run. Remember, you will like to label your points x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. And for rise over run, this is change in y divided by change in x. Secondly, you will use the point slope formula. This is where you'll substitute these values, your y sub 1, your m, and your x sub 1. So substitute your slope, label your point x sub 1, y sub 1. So pick any point and substitute it. 3, convert to slope-intercept. Apply the distributive property to get rid of the parentheses, and then use the additive inverse to isolate y. So for our first problem, given 2 points, 1, 2, and 4, 11, write the equation in slope-intercept form. So the first thing I'm going to do is label my points. Then I'm going to use the slope formula. Now I'm going to substitute my points. 11 minus 2. Notice that I put the second one in parentheses. 4 minus 1, and that is so that way if you have one with a negative, that way you can separate the minus from the negative. So 11 minus 2 gives me 9. 4 minus 1 gives me 3. So my slope here is 3. So m equals 3. Now here's point slope formula. Y minus y sub 1, which is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. This is called point slope form. Now I'm going to use my slope, and I'm going to pick a point, 1, 2, and I'm going to label it. So now I'm going to substitute my slope and my point. So y minus y sub 1, which is equal to 3 times x minus 1. Now I'll put these in parentheses. You always substitute and put them in parentheses. Go ahead and let's simplify that. Y minus 2 is equal to 3 times x minus 1. Now here I'm going to use the distributive property. So this times this and this times that. So 3 times x gives me 3x. 3 times negative 1 gives me negative 3. I'm going to drop this side down. At this point, I'm going to isolate x by doing the additive inverse. So I'm going to do plus 2 here, plus 2 over here. This gives me a 0 pair. Y is equal to 3x minus 1. Box that in. So our steps were: first, substitute. Secondly, distributive property. Then isolate y by using the additive inverse. Alright, this time we're going to work out an example where the slope is negative. So again, given 2 points, write the equation in slope-intercept form. So I need to find my slope first. So this time I'm going to use a table. I'm going to set up my points. 5, negative 2, 10, negative 6. Now, I'm going to use the first difference, so my change in x on this side. So from 5 to 10, that increased plus 5. From negative 2 to negative 6, that means it went down 4 units. So my change in y is negative 4. So change in y, change in x. So change in y divided by change in x is equal to negative 4 over 5. Now, if you still get confused with the table, you can always do the following. 5, negative 2, 10, negative 6. You can label them y sub 1, y sub 2, x sub 1, x sub 2. And then do the version of the slope formula. 10 minus 5, which gives me 5. Negative 6 minus negative 2. Since this is double negative, that turns into a plus. So negative 6 plus 2 gives me negative 4, which is the same thing, negative 4 over 5. So now that we got our slope, I'm going to use point slope to find my equation again. So y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. I'm going to write down my slope, which is m is equal to negative 4 over 5. And I'm going to use the point 5 comma negative 2. And I'm going to label it x sub 1, y sub 1. Now go ahead and let's substitute. Y minus parentheses negative 2 is equal to negative 4 over 5 times x minus 5. So now that I substituted everything, I'm going to first simplify it first, because I don't like that I have minus a negative here, so that turns into a plus. Now I'm going to use the distributive property and multiply this times this times this. So negative 4 over 5x and negative 4 over 5 times negative 5 gives me positive 4. At this point, I'm going to use the additive inverse. So right here, the additive inverse of adding 2 is to subtract 2. So I'm subtracting 2 off of both sides. So I end up with y, this gives me a 0 pair. It's equal to negative 4 over 5x plus 2. And again, the steps were substitute, distributive property, additive inverse to isolate y. Be the last problem in my model for y'all. Alright, so given 2 points, write the equation in slope-intercept form. So I'm going to label the points first. X sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. I'm going to find my slope. This time I'm going to use the formula for slope. I'll substitute my points. So 1 minus 1, negative 7 minus 3. So 1 minus 1 gives me 0. Negative 7 minus 3 gives me negative 10. 0 divided by negative 10 gives me 0. Now, I want to go ahead and address the following thing. Our slope is 0 for this problem, so m equals 0. But if you end up with the opposite, like negative 10 divided by 0, this is undefined. So don't get it confused. So just gonna erase that real quick. Alright, so slope is 0. Again, using point slope form, y minus y sub 1 is equal to m times x minus x sub 1. Now pick a point. Again, I'm going to go for the simplest one. But for you guys, I'm just going to model a more difficult one. So this time, I'm using negative 7, comma 1. My m is 0. Don't forget to label a point. So y minus 1 is equal to 0 times x minus negative 7. Now, again, I see minus a negative, so I'm going to simplify that. So I'm going to rewrite it. Yeah, it's not going to make a difference in a second. Alright, now I'm going to use the distributive property. So I'm going to circle that, and I'm going to multiply this. I'm going to multiply this. Now, be mindful of the following thing. Slope is 0. So 0 times x gives me 0x. 0 times 7 gives me 0. But I want you to think about it. What's 0 times anything? Well, 0 times x actually gives us 0, and if I add another 0 to it, it is still 0. So this basically just gives me 0. Now, I still need to solve for y and get y by itself, so I'm going to do the additive inverse here. So plus 1, y equals 1, which is this equation. Now, same thing. Substitute. Distributive property. Additive inverse. At this point, read the problem and pause the video so you can work out this problem on your own. Go ahead and hit pause. go ahead and hit pause on this video so that way you can work out this problem on your own. Alright guys, that's the end of lesson 3. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe.